biggest names, from Robbie Williams to Dawn French, are getting behind a campaign to stop the paid-for scam adverts which appear online that use famous faces to lure victims in.
These fake ads pop up on reputable sites, including social media, where they show recognisable faces like Richard Branson, like Martin Lewis, even Susanna, appearing to endorse products or services that actually link to fraudsters. People put their savings into scam accounts because they think Martin or Susanna are endorsing them, and it's totally made up.
Yeah.
Martin Lewis is leading the campaign, and he's going to join us now.
Morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you both.
Martin, you've been talking about this for a long time. Why isn't the government acting? And when they've got a piece of legislation which is about to go to Parliament, why aren't they using that opportunity to sort this out? It was 2 years ago that Facebook settled with you and made that huge payment to Citizens Advice to advise people. 2 years on, where's the government?
Well, the government is sadly lacking, and that's the problem with this. And you're right. I mean, it's a long time ago I sued Facebook. People may be fed up of hearing me talk about this, though the more I'm on the television warning people that any advert with my face in it and most of these other famous names, they're all scams. We have the online safety bill going through Parliament. Until this point, we've done it the right way. You know, I've given evidence to parliamentary committees looking at the bill on this. I've written joint letters alongside Which and Age UK and the regulator, the FCA, and the ABI and UK Finance and represent the banks. So that's the banks and the consumer groups all coming together and saying to the government, please put scam ads in the bill. Deaf ears. So today I've got a letter. It has been signed by me, Duncan Bannatyne, Richard Branson, Deborah Meaden, Rob Brydon, Dawn French, Bear Grylls, Peter Jones, Lorraine Kelly, Davina McCall, Phillip Schofield, Bradley Walsh, Robbie Williams, Holly Willoughby. Real star power there. And all of those people have their names and faces perverted by criminal scammers trying to steal money off people, including vulnerable people. And it is not our job to protect them. And we have raised enough awareness of this over the time. This is the job of the government and regulators to sort out, and they have gone missing. And I'll tell you something, Ed, you know, as a former politician, you'll get this. This bill is so badly drafted, this online safety bill for scams, because what the government has done is it said it's going to cover user-generated scam adverts. So scams that are posted by people on social media will be regulated and will be covered. The ones that they're not paid to publish, but the ones they are paid to publish, the advertising, will not be covered by the regulations. Now, first of all, you've got the farcity that what's the difference? So I do a user-generated post, and if I don't want it to be regulated, I just pay to have it promoted. Now it's an advert. Now it's no longer covered by the rules, so the big tech isn't responsible. But more so, what this actually means is these scammers are clever commercial thieves. Yeah. And they are not stupid. They will understand there is now going to be less scrutiny on the adverts than on the user-generated posts. So the bill the government is going to put through Parliament is going to promote more scam adverts. They're not just going to ignore our call to regulate scam adverts. They're actively doing something that will mean more scam adverts. It is outrageously frustrating.
I know, Martin, the government is now saying they're moving quickly after the terrible events recently, the death of the MP, to try and get this quickly onto the statute book. They've been consulting on this, though, since April 2019. As I understand it, the Culture Secretary said that legal advice means she can't do what you want. She says it's outside the scope of the bill. The bill is only about children. But I thought that this bill is about stopping the platforms of the companies being used to abuse trust and to scam and to protect people. And I have to say, I don't understand why they can't take the time to draft a bill with the right scope, which actually allows us to sort this out. It's in their power. There's no law which says they can't do it. They're actually making the law. And the legal advice is it's inconvenient, but it's inconvenient for the people drafting the bill, but for the people who are being lured into all their savings being scammed and lost because of your face on the advert. That's not inconvenient. That is absolutely outrageous.
Well, we face an epidemic of scams in the UK. And scams don't just destroy people's financial lives, they destroy their lives. They destroy their self-esteem. They destroy their mental health when people have had their retirements stolen away from them. They can't cope with it. I mean, it's not their fault, but they blame themselves. Now, you're right. Nadine Dorries was asked in a parliamentary committee about what I'm calling for. They actually said Martin Lewis is saying scam adverts should be in the bill. And she said, I'd like to do it, but my legal advice says that I can't do it. And what's really funny about that is, what's this legal advice? I wrote to her last week alongside Which and said, OK, we want to work with you. Publish the legal advice. What is this legal advice that says you can't put scam ads in the bill? And then we can work with you to find a way around it, or actually understand it and work with you to get something better. But at the moment, all I've got is legal advice says we can't do it.
And unfortunately, we can't talk to the government minister about it this morning. Martin, I want to ask, because this, as you've just said, this destroys people's lives. I mean, at one end of the scale, you have, someone like me, and my face is used to advertise bogus diet pills, which I've never used, saying that I endorse them. It's absolute rubbish. I don't endorse any diet pills. And people get in touch with me sometimes and say, I paid for these pills, they never arrived. Or, if I invest, I bought these for my mum, how did they help you? And I think to myself, please don't fall for it. I've got nothing to do with them. That's one end of the scale. At the other end, Martin, if someone like you, trusted financial face, and people have lost out, and I know it hurts you emotionally, but it's hurting their lives, isn't it?
Look, some people have lost hundreds of thousands of pounds. And if anyone's thinking they're stupid, these scammers are clever. They start you with 250 quid and they brainwash people into making them think that they're friends. And many vulnerable people fall for this. And I have spent 20 years trying to help people protect themselves as consumers. And to have my name and face be utilised in this way by scammers to steal people's money, and I know the other signatories of the letters feel just as powerfully about this. It's devastating. It leaves me in tears. And I probably shouldn't say this, Susanna, but is it only my wish that Boris Johnson, who we have written to today, was as trusted as me and the other people in the letters, so that the scammers were using his face to rip people off. Because if they were using the Prime Minister's face to rip people off, I suspect I would not having to be fight as hard to get scam adverts covered in this online safety bill. I wouldn't be being told, yeah, we'll look at advertising next, when they've created a bill that will mean more scam adverts, and that advertising regulation could take another 3 and 4 years. And every day there are people's lives being destroyed in magnitude, not 1 or 2, thousands, hundreds of thousands, by these scam ads. And the government is flaccid at what it's doing, and it needs to try and sort this out, and sort it out soon. We have had enough of scammers. The UK is an epidemic of scams. The scammers are criminals. We need to tell big tech, if you are paid to publish adverts, you're responsible for publishing those adverts. And the government is being cowardly and not taking on big tech. And I suspect because it's scared that they might judicial review. I suspect because they're scared that big tech is so powerful. And in fact, a cabinet minister I met years ago when I was suing Facebook said, oh, it's so good you're doing this because it's really difficult for us to take on big tech. And I said, don't gamble with my money, because I was suing Facebook at the time, which was blooming scary, let me tell you, even though we won and we got a big out of court settlement. The government, stop being cowardly, government. Your job is to protect the public. These are scam ads that are destroying vulnerable people's lives. And as I say, there's a whole host of us supporting this. I would be happy to meet Nadine Dorries to talk about this. I'd like to see her legal advice that says she can't do this, so I can work with her, but we haven't had that published yet. All we've got is legal advice. Well, how are proper agencies meant to work when we're just told legal advice?
Thank you so much, Martin, for the leadership you're showing on this.
Yeah, it's really important work, and you're absolutely right. If it was the Prime Minister's face, I'm sure the legal advice would be slightly different. Martin Lewis, thanks very much indeed. A government spokesperson said, "We have been clear that online fraud is a huge problem and the government is continuing to explore additional legislative and non-legislative solutions to combat it. We're looking into the entire issue of online advertising, including whether tougher regulation is needed. The government will respond to this letter in due course." Look, it's needed. Well, the celebrities aren't doing it for their own reputations. They're doing it because those reputations are being harnessed to con people out of hundreds of thousands of pounds.